We live now with KB. All right. Yeah, you get ready. Yeah, you're a host now, bro. Yeah, I don't like nobody running the water. Yes, sir. Facebook crew, welcome, welcome. I hope you can see us well. Let's go. Oh, I'm not connected. Where's the Wi-Fi? I went through a function. I forgot what it was. That helps me. Where's this right here? CBC.
Welcome. Jackson, Mississippi. Welcome, Jackson, Mississippi, to Make It Make Sense. I'm your host, Keanu Perry, a.k.a. Young Man, a.k.a. KP, a.k.a. Keanu Perry Jr., a.k.a. Mr. Jackson. Whatever name you got for me, as long as you don't insult my character, because I will challenge it. And I was going to say something else. Welcome back to the first day of our...
Your co-host, Tarek Abdul.
I was going to say...
I'll mess with you.
Yeah.
It was only because I read over there to get ready.
Yeah, you know Tyreek in the room. I ain't gotta say his name.
I appreciate you. I was just over there ready. That's all.
I know. Yeah, man. Along with my co-host Tyreek Abdul, aka Mr. Intelligent,
AKA Mr. Talk a Lot. That's what they call me.
Talk a Lot, aka Computer Brain.
Yeah. Those are a few of them right there.
Yeah. But welcome back to the first day of our, I don't even know what to say.
5, 6
days,
right?
Day.
Yes.
And you gotta understand, we the only show that get excited about more days. You know, we might go to the 10th day. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if that's possible. We'll make it possible. You know what I'm saying? Make it make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome back to our first day of our 6th or 5th day a week of show. And you know how we start the show off. We always start it off with, we hope that you've done something productive. No matter which way I say it, I always say it with the same genuine heart. We hope you started off with something productive or done something productive. Get out, you know what I'm saying? Get out your house. I don't understand how you can sit around anyway while all this stuff going around Jackson anyway.
It's a lot happening.
It's a lot happening. So I know somebody in that household or somewhere in your neighborhood. You probably see somebody cutting grass so they can stop stressing out.
And there's no growth without discomfort. So that's not a horrible thing. We just got to do something with it.
You got to do something about it. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to my brother. What's that street behind where we're about to talk about that was trying to get the gravel out of the road?
Behind my street. Not my street.
Yeah, I'll remember it. But yeah, no, it's a lot going on. I'm with you 100%. I mean, it's a lot going on, and it's a...
Yeah, man, you know, like always, we hope that everybody made it back, you know, and the ones that didn't make it back, you know, moment of silence for y'all. All right. Did I miss anything?
No. You see, that's what I like about this combination, right, is youth and experience. That's what I say. I don't call it wisdom yet. Wisdom is when that experience starts turning into positive decisions for a sustained amount of time, right? I've been doing it for a few years here, but no, I think you hit everything. Just welcome back, guys. Like the young man said, we have 5 or 6 shows in 5 days, and we're here all week for you is the main thing. I think, as the young man alluded to, this is a very tumultuous time, but it's a time that we can turn and make a turning point for our community. And I don't just mean here in Jackson, Mississippi, but I mean throughout the United States of America. There's a gentleman once said, if you can unravel the racism in Mississippi, it's like a sweater that cloaks the United States. And if you're able to, which unfortunately has been a struggle, if you're able to unravel that thread, it will unravel the entire sweater of racism cloaked in the United States, making it much easier for us to push back.
So who first knitted the sweater?
That's right. So Candyland, I hate to say it, but you know, I think that what that means for us is that as we start to go into this show, we're being attacked, Jackson. We are under attack. And you have never heard me in a year plus use that type of language. We simply line out what's happening. But right now, we're going to start talking about the data center coming, this upcoming meeting on the 27th, the slick of the hand that the Shia Brown Thomas and Kevin Parkinson pulled on us, that Vernon Hartley and his old buddy Foot. And listen, when I say old buddy, this show does not have time and an hour to waste calling people names and talking. It's to inform people. and I talked about how Foote and Hartley went on a tour together, going to different communities in Jackson, advocating to only support measures put forth by Vernon Hartley, Ashby Foote, and Kenneth Stokes, not to trust anyone else on that city council. And that has just continuously resulted in us being heard as a city. Yes. First, in the redistricting of the city, Vernon Hartley lost a lot for African American people that had access to flood protection and a lot of other things that were pushed out of a district. And now you see with data centers. So basically just understand, and you put them on the platform to explain for themselves, that LaShia Brown Thomas and Kevin Parkinson stopped City Council President Brian Grizzell from placing a moratorium on data centers. And this is the beauty right now. The only beauty of this is that we don't need to waste any time talking about whether we want data centers here right now. Right. Nobody does. Not even Fondren, ironically. Or maybe Fondren doesn't understand how far that data center that we're going to talk about is proposed is from their ward, and understand what they're about to go through. Or maybe they haven't talked to their neighbors in South Haven. And I know folks, I don't know anybody in Fondren personally that wants, and so Kevin Parkinson's got to answer to his own constituents at this point. This is going beyond the color issue.
Yes, this is a person issue.
Yeah, this is a humanity issue.
Yeah,
you're bringing something into a city that you don't even know where it works everywhere else, and you're rushing it into our city. We're gonna break down what we're talking about. Keep going.
As a black person, I'm sure LaShia and Harley, I would love to know where they live at. Not in a.
Yeah, absolutely. To understand how this affects them. Yes. Very valid. Very valid.
I don't know too many people that want to draw a gun on somebody than themselves. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time, you pointed at that person because you feel like it ain't harming them. Not to bring violence into it, but if they was around these areas where they was bringing these data centers in, I feel like they want to. You know what I'm saying? That probably would have been one of the reasons why they.
You definitely have to wonder who shoots a gun in their own house.
Yeah.
And you wonder that from Mayor Horn down. And you absolutely have to wonder that. So I think that's a very valid point. And just to let's go a little bit into the details. You want to give a little bit of background before we heat it up. So there's a few different articles that you want to look at to understand how we got here very quickly. What you want to really understand is that we are at a place where data centers, unfortunately, are closing in on Jackson, Mississippi. Yeah. I'm just trying to determine how far back to go with the people, right?
Yeah, that's my
So much you've been with us. Let's talk to our core, and those, you can call in 601-948-5950. You can jump online at Facebook at Make It Make Sense Jackson, JXN. If you haven't been on our Facebook site and you're hearing this, if you don't feel comfortable going on there, get a nephew or niece to go on there for you and to play the video. If you haven't looked at Two Cities, One Jackson, then you're just looking at just a ball of information, no opinion. And that's why a lot of folks don't want these voices to continue, because we're not wasting 1 second putting our opinion into it until we've landed the information. That way you can go ahead and cut us off when we're talking about how we feel about it. At least you've already got the information. But you can either make a comment online if you don't want to call in, or call in. But I'd say it's nice, KP, to start. I think our city knows the situation we're sitting in with the Water Authority takeover. That's been repetitive, right? I think they know that our city council made some initial quote-unquote slip-ups by not recognizing the 30-day window to push back against the increase. Yeah. I think that Vernon Hartley specifically was told by Keitha Stamps, Public Service Commissioner, to start the filing for a rate case, which eventually was filed by the city council. But that was taken down from the website as if we didn't want to go in that direction with enough pressure, which I don't know where else that pressure came from except Make It Make Sense Jackson. And when I say that, I'm talking about all of our listeners, not just these two people sitting here talking right now, and our producer, shout out Mr. Wilson. I'm talking about from us as a community. Believe me, they would not, this is my belief now, my opinion, they would not have slowed anything down. They would not have brought anything back up. The fact that pressure came made them say, okay, well, let's look at a rate case, which makes you wonder if this sellout was there from the beginning, or enough people locked in from the beginning. Because you got to answer this. When we start talking about LaShia and when we start talking about Vernon Hartley, you got to start asking yourself what's going on here. Now, listen, at a certain point, I need bank accounts. That's me personally. I don't have any legal right to call for anything, okay? This is just Make It Make Sense Jackson. We want to see bank accounts. When black city councilwomen and black city councilmen start going against protection for the city. And understand, Brian Grizzell simply said a moratorium. That does not mean you can't do bit. All that means is slow down, buddy. But John Horn's little buddy, Gabriel Prater, was already pushing with an AI data center. You was already pushing with an AI data center. Yeah. So how did Hartley and LaShia lose their blackness, lose their Ward 6 and Ward 5-ness, and decide to go along with this? Kevin Parkinson may just not care. I don't understand that either, Fondren. And I hope we have some listeners from Fonda. This is a all beer letting money riding. This show does not, we've had people of every color and persuasion call in and say good things and bad things. We've never hung up on them until they try to derail the show. We let them talk. So Fonda, we want to hear from you. This is not a one person. If you've met me in public, I've smiled and shook your hand.
Yep.
You keep pretending this is a hostile platform. Only thing hostile about this platform is the truth. And if the truth is hostile to you, that speaks more to you than us. We're extremely friendly with the community. All the time, see people in grocery stores, Kroger's, Aldi's. Shout out to all the people I see, hug, talk to. There's no hostility here. So, Fodrin, you need to call in, or we're just going to assume that Parkinson is speaking for you all when he says, whoa, you all need to focus on whether this creates an ordinance and yada yada, instead of just saying, hold on, no. That's what Alaska did. In Alaska, they just said no to a data center. Another place, they firebombed the councilman's house for voting for it. Missouri. It's just the realities. We're sick of running around scared. Let's talk about what's happening. That's how they felt. That's your right to understand how someone felt. People want to do the legal. That's not our job. Leave it to your morning legal shows. We're here to talk about how people are feeling in 2026 with what's happening. And they firebombed the councilperson's house in Missouri because that's how strongly they felt that this data center was an act of violence. I personally wouldn't choose that choice. I'm choosing the choice we're choosing together as a community, right? To stop it before it happens.
We so powerful. We ain't got a firebomb.
Yeah, we don't have to firebomb, but that does speak to people's frustration. When folks feel the need to firebomb something because they feel like they don't have control over their children, over their future, and over what's going to happen to them. And that's the reality of what happens. So you look back at, I mean, it's just crazy how we start, isn't it?
This, you know, from even when Stokes did his little his bid with the changing the street name and people coming out and speaking against him at Ward 3. The whole Ward 3 showed. I ain't say the whole Ward 3. Most of them showed up.
A lot of, yes. Ward 3 showed up.
Okay. So
Ward 5.
I told y'all,
Ward 6.
This is bigger than the street. This is bigger than one person. Y'all keep getting comfortable thinking it's only happening to a certain particular group. It's gonna come to your door next. We've been telling y'all this. So it's time for everybody to Ward 1 from Ward 7.
No, I'm trying to move your mic. You know, we do multiple jobs here. I'm the engineer. Go ahead, yeah, perfect. Yeah. And let me just piggyback off of that. Ward 5 and Ward 6 is your time. Actually, Ward 5, Ward 6, and Ward 7, really. I don't think, I think Ashley Foote's ward just is more concerned about keeping the type of leadership he presents. And that's what the last race, I wish I could pull up who he ran against, but that's what the last race to me showed me about that whole ward, is that they would prefer Ashley Foote's Confederate sympathizing, locked in with the state's agenda leadership, than bringing on new blood.
If they suicidal, then that's on them. I mean, but to the ones that's not suicidal in Ward 1, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you all continue to vote them. And who did Foote run against? He ran against two people, and I honestly believe that some people say that there was his win was reelected by single digits. I just think it's a point to always remember history, to KP's point. The win was single digits, which means that there are a lot of people that wanted him out of there. So, absolutely, there's a lot of people there that don't like the decisions he's making. If he was able to almost lose like that. So, Ward 1, Ward 5, Ward 6, Ward 7, Jackson, Mississippi is going to need to stand up. You see folks in South Haven travel. This isn't about color or communities. Folks travel from South Haven to talk to the city council. And LaShia looked to the left like she didn't know what was happening and waiting for Kevin to say the next move. This is understanding real-time politics that are happening to you. This is not pretending the emperor has on clothes when he doesn't. Generally, we're used to just watching these two people whisper to each other, and I understand that, but that's politics. I'm just going to try to get mine. Now we just have to yell out that the emperor doesn't have on clothes and watch how that builds. Because no one yells, Tarek, you're wrong, because everybody's sitting in the city council hall with me watching Kevin Parkinson whisper to her. That's the beauty of pointing out what's happening. If you see something, say something. Somebody try to hurt you for it. They might try to take you out for it, but they can't say you're wrong because everybody's watching it. It's when you let it pass over. And I always talk, when you have young daughters, when you have a woman in your community, you always try to teach them correctly that don't let somebody ever try to get you to a point where they're trying to get you quiet, because quiet is their goal, right? And if you look at that from an overall level, anytime someone's trying to abuse you or kidnap you or take you away, they want you to be quiet. As Gabriel Prado, John Horn, downtown Jackson partner, Kane Diddle, spinning a block on the daiquiri bar, got the nerve to have that poor young man thanking Kane Diddle for a little more time. Only reason he's giving you more time, young man, is because he doesn't have anyone to rent that place until the gentrification fully takes place. So he was more than happy to stretch out and get a little bit more of your money. He knew you weren't going to stay, not because there's anything wrong with you, daiquiri bar is a business. Quite the opposite. But years ago, Mayor John Horn introduced the Business Improvement District, convinced most of Jackson to go along with it except Farris Street, And then Kane Ditto oversaw what you know as downtown Jackson partners stepping right in. And they were so bad to the daiquiri bar owner, they were so bad, Charles Tisdale sued Kane Ditto, the one you're thinking in there, you don't know this necessarily. The late Charles Tisdale sued Kane Ditto and the city council for stealing money and siphoning it from the city of Jackson into downtown Jackson partners. Kane Ditto sits on the board of downtown Jackson partners. He never, I can say that, and I wish Kane would have a problem with that. He never intended that young black man with daiquiri bar to stay in there. Because I know what you did 30 years ago, Kane Ditto. I know what you and Dale Danks did when you all got set up to take this city back once you realized a black man was incoming. We know what you did, Harvey Johnson, when Henry Kursky was running with a unified black vote and you decided to run against him. Some rumors say that First Guaranty Bank threw some money at you. Some rumors say you just wanted it for yourself. All we know is whatever you did by splitting that vote, you got rewarded by getting that vote and becoming the first black mayor. These are what we knows that translate into a better decision right now. Hell no, we're not going to know that and let LaShia and Hartley and Kevin Parkinson, that's going to have to be Fondren. Ashby Foote, that's going to have to be Ward 1. But the damn if we're going to let LaShia and Hartley run around this city after every black city is complaining about data centers and we got black, what is the benefit of having 5 out of 7 black city council members if the black city council member is the one that opens the door back to data centers?
And one don't show up.
And one just doesn't show up. Stokes. This is the representation that we have. This is not about the people of Jackson. This isn't about the people understanding politics. This is about people that are in positions doing absolutely nothing or paying to play. And we don't know which one it is at this point because it makes no sense to us. And you challenge us, cease and desist, we won't. You can't make this little sense as leaders. And we don't say, are you paying to play, LaShia? Because why in the name of God would a black woman from her ward is 100% black almost, isn't it? From a 90% black ward. It doesn't even, man, let me stop saying, because nobody wants data centers. No. This ain't even about your ward, the makeup, the racism in Mississippi. You're just going against the people. And Kevin Parkinson is grooming you and walking you through it.
Yes, and don't be discouraged. Just like we have the power to speak and go up there and say something, we have the power to tell them reject it.
That's right.
They can reject this.
That's right. They can reject this.
Reject it.
They can allow Brian Grizel's moratorium to go forward first. That's what we want. We don't want to hear nothing about ordinances, and you don't know whether this is going to cause a 15-day. We don't care nothing about you coming up with reasons not to protect us, Kevin Parkinson. And what I told you, and now I hope folks are ready, what I tell you about that Ward 7 spot, it's got up here white, liberal, and always friendly. So it can hit you. That's that Novocaine that Malcolm talks about, even in the white leader of Ward 7. He wants you to suffer peacefully. So that ward, Virgie Lindsay, Kevin, they're going to smile at you. But they're the ones delivering the blow to the heart. Virgie Lindsay with CCID, if you look at that investment deeply, wasn't Ashby. Ashby just sat up there and went to sleep during meetings and always voted against us. It was Virgie that lures you in with a smile. Oh, well, let's not be racist. Let's just take their city legally. That's what and so Kevin Parkinson leans over to, and then here goes LaShia, and she introduces, no, Grizel. Why would we protect them? You know Prado's coming and this other company coming with AI Center. What else could we think, Brown Thomas? Bank account time. You're not just going to assault people like this. Folks are going to have to be transparent enough to show, you know that you can put somebody in a hospital, in a mental hospital in your family if you go through a hearing to prove that they're not making decisions that show that they're safe with their own decision making. And we should be able to do the same with these councilmen and women. Vote of no confidence, something that makes everything they're doing transparent to us. So going back to the steps, Grizel says, let's slow this down, probably understanding that the data centers were on their way through Gabriel Prado because he's the closest to the mayor. Little did he know there was another person closer. And see, this is what I'm talking about when I say Mayor Horn from 1996. And you want to take this until you accept it. You want to take it until you stop hearing it. Turn it off. You're going to take this and understand when there's a joker, when there's a poisonous snake in your midst that is continuing to bite you, and you're looking for that poison. Horn introduced Kane Ditto and Downtown Jackson Partners with Business Improvement District legislation in 96. He co-authored it. The federal government said Mississippi is so bad with your voting rights. Look at this, 96. Because when the right to vote came in 65, Mississippi hovered at 7%, the worst in the nation. So the federal government didn't even want to allow a business improvement district to come into a majority black city. But here came John Horn. You want to hear this. This is how things start. You want to look at why something is like this 30 years later, but you don't want to slow down and look at how it got this way. And these folks are still moving around and running your damn city. At a certain point, it's got to be a whoa. Harvey Johnson can no longer be a hero that was the first black mayor. You change that perspective. Now you change the perspective of the people that live there. So the second person is Robert Island. Gabriel Prater was on Mayor Horn's entrepreneurial transition team. He has AI data coming. Entities trying to fight him. He's gentrifying the city with gas stations and with apartment buildings we can't afford. On the second side is Robert Island. So at this meeting where LaShia and Parkinson stood up, who were they standing up for? This is all one little house called City Hall. Robert Island is a lawyer, for those that don't know, that was on Mayor John Horn's housing task team he created back when Blossom was a horrible situation where they didn't help those residents at all. But you know what did come out of that? Him putting attorney Robert Island in place. Aha, this is understanding. He puts attorney Robert Island on the housing task force. They do nothing. The housing task force does nothing. Blossom gets 5 days and they get kicked out. But why was Robert Island and the rest of them put together? Now we see. In this meeting where LaShia says, forget that protection, we don't need it, Robert Island then steps and says, can I speak? All coming from the same table, y'all. What do you have to say, Robert? Well, I've got a client. I can't tell you who. They got a data center coming, so we don't like this moratorium. Bank accounts. Robert Island is saying, I have a client who wants to install a data center, so Grizel, we don't want you protecting these people because we got something for them right now.
Guess you know exactly what we about to talk about? Guess what he's trying to install there?
Where? Tell me.
Avenue.
Say it again.
Forest Avenue.
Forest Avenue. Robert Island's secret data center installation is right around the corner on Forest Avenue, where he's trying to get it rezoned away from residential for the clear path of creating a data center.
Yep. A 190 acre site. 190 acre site. It was previously
You knew I wanted you to read it. Go ahead. The boy.
Yeah, man. It's
109 acre.
90.
190, excuse me.
Yeah.
Now hold on, who's the company? The company that he's representing, Saxum Investment Company, LLC. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, this is
Forest Avenue.
And potentially, you know, this could cause a lot of vulnerability to the water and sewer or resource contamination. And Forest Avenue was like a predominantly black neighborhood also. And the grid strain cost, the consumer impact, all this stuff, the backup generators.
And if you're not looking at our website, that's where you should go because the link is there. But just type in company seeking to rezone Forest Avenue property for Jackson Data Center.
Yep.
So this is why listen, we don't have those burdens on our neck. We remind you of it over and over again. We don't have to sit here and wonder about what's the legislative part? We're radio show hosts. Why would LaShia and Vernon Hartley have voted for this? Oh, we see now. Y'all all are sitting at the same table. The mayor's housing team, right? This is all City Hall. You think as Robert Island's white, LaShia's black, you think that the people are stupid enough to not connect the dots? So you all are sitting at the same table. John Horn brings in Robert Island for no reason because no one gets helped in Blossom. They create a housing task team to tell us what. Next thing you know, Robert Island and popping up in court. This is what the mayor's friends do. Damn, become friends with the mayor, you can do whatever you want to Jackson.
Yep.
That's what this is unfolding. So Robert Island shows up in court and says, Grizel, you need to be quiet. Talking about protection for the people. This ain't your land anymore. But little did we know, he apparently knew he had LaShia and Hartley in his back pocket. He talked with Swag, because they said, tell us who your client is, bring the data center. It came out a day later, that's why KP just told you it was. But at that hearing, he said, I'm not telling you nothing. Don't worry about that. Because he knew LaShia, he looked at them. Don't worry about it.
Oh, that was the client?
Yeah, the Robert Island, the client was the, yes sir, I'm sorry about it. Saxum Investment, LLC, who came out on May 20th saying that they wanted to rezone, is the same client Robert Island was protecting on, let me see the date because I want folks to go exactly where. The public sees who did it. That's when the name of the article is the public sees who did it, and that is on May 19th. So on May 19th, LaShia Brown Thomas and Kevin Hartley, along with Parkinson and Foote, stopped Brian Grizel from putting a moratorium, which is a block on data centers for 183 days to figure out what was going on. During that meeting, Robert Island from John Horn's housing task team stood up and said, let me add to that. I don't want this moratorium either. I think data centers should be able to come ASAP. And they were like, why, Robert? They were like, because I got a client bringing it. They was like, who's the client, Robert? He was like, I'm not telling you all. That's just what happened, the facts. The next day on the 20th, Robert Island comes out with the announcement, along with everyone else, that the company, Saxum Investment Company, represented by who? Robert Island, announces that they're seeking to rezone Forest Avenue right here for a Jackson data center. And they're having a hearing on May 27th where our scandalous city council members are sitting hoping they can go ahead and accept this without us pushing back. They're going to give you a data center in Jackson before every other city in Mississippi pushing back against it gets one. Canton's been fighting back. They're trying to start construction on ours right away.
And I also want to mention a lot of people that's bringing data centers to Mississippi, or specifically Jackson and Mississippi. You already named one of them, Saxum Investment Company, Watkins and Inger Klein, Jackson City Limits, Saxum is Jackson Forest Ave, Prado AI, Regional Central Mississippi.
Prado AI.
Amazon, AWS, Clinton, bordering Jackson.
Rumors that that Amazon one is going to be the largest one in the global community.
And in Madison County, also Amazon, in AVAIO Digital, Rankin County, Brandon.
So listen to all those places really quickly. Let me just ask you something, Mississippi. Madison, Brandon, Canton. Well, Madison, Brandon, originally. You'll understand that in a minute. These are the type of people fight. Where do you think the data centers are going to win at, and where do you think they're going to lose at? So you have white communities predominantly that Madison saying, don't bring that here, right? You got Jackson where they're having a hearing to bring it quickly. Which community you think is going to lose, and which one do you think going to win to stop a data center from coming out? I think we already know the answer to that. Madison versus Jackson. Well, Madison politicians are working for Madisonians. Jackson's politicians are working for, what's the name of this company?
Saxum.
Yeah, Saxum, for the Water Authority, for anything other than for the residents of Jackson by their actions. So back to back, this is how quickly they're coming. And this is all because folks didn't listen and watch when John Horn came in with people that had already hurt the city, were hurting the city, and continue to hurt the city. See, if you can't understand how a black man can bring in Surinder Singh, you know why we talk about things so much? For you to understand someone's character. Old folks used to say, when you understand someone's character, you know, you believe who somebody is, right? When someone shows you believe them, right? So you have Surinder Singh, and I mean, people will start to understand the magnificence, the impact of this. Surinder Singh watched Charles Hawthorne, a young black man, get executed. Well, not watched him, saw him getting executed in a store. The Indian store owner that shot him in the back of the head, execution style, for stealing a 6-pack of beer, was charged with murder. Though he was found guilty and moved out to an area where it was not, Charles Hawthorne's community judging him, he was found innocent. Charles Hawthorne's mother, his father, and protesters were outside of the courtroom, all saying that this was a travesty of justice. For John Horn to put that type of person on his transition team, I don't know of any other politician that would do that just for the way it would look. That was the first huge red flag that someone would put basically an Indian supremacist, not a white supremacist, an Indian supremacist, on their transition team that had laughed about a black man being execution-style murdered. And as his mother was mourning, says that man put his life up against a 6-pack of beer, further justifying his murder. That's the calm that came before the storm, and people ignored it. Oh, well, that's just the Free the Land Crew, and that, y'all just talking about the Black Lives Matter. If your life don't matter to you, you start understanding now, ain't you? You didn't like Black Lives Matter. I'm talking about that type of talk, not the org. I see why I like. You didn't like talking about I'm black and I matter. You didn't like that now. Well, you're about to find out what not mattering as a black person is, Jackson. These data centers being rushed into our city are the clearest evidence of life not mattering in Jackson, Mississippi. And the fact that we've got black councilmen that usher this in is disgusting. And we got to have that. I don't understand how we just walk around with this. This is being a laughingstock of the country. I mean, does Lashia Brown and Hartley, do they live in they have a second house in Madison? I mean, serious. Now, you don't know. I'm saying to have the conversation with them. We've been here a year and a half, have never advocated violence because it's stupid. It's not necessary. We have a vote. Where are these people at, and why aren't these conversations being had? Or these folks only have constituents that are too old to understand what's happening? I'll say it. Are they depending on folks that are out of the loop for their votes? No, we just got to vote then. Get them out of here. But they're going to hurt us now to the point where by the time LaShia gets out of office, she's a first-time councilwoman. How does a first-time councilwoman have the nerve to vote against, first-time black councilwoman have a nerve to vote against a sitting president who says, let's put this protection in place, while the entire United States is up? And you cannot go online and go you know how you scroll 5 scrolls without a data center in some state. Texas, Alaska, Missouri, data centers. So, all this sad music and whatnot is just rampant. Well, why would a black councilwoman think that's where you pressure? I know Foot and Parkinson matter. But LaShia and Hartley move where we move. They go to churches that we go to.
Yeah, they eat weed. And we are, come on.
Yeah, you're not even going to ask them the question, why would you do that?
They go to your Kroger's, your Walmart.
And if it's something you don't understand, then it's call it what it is. It's BS. Because you should be able to clearly understand why we would welcome something like this into our community. And this garbage about, well, it may be creating an ordinance. Why? Councilwoman Tina Clay said it perfectly. Well, let's not worry about the ordinance. Let's just set a policy that says there's a moratorium on data centers. Let's just block the data centers. Why are black folks so worried about making the investors uncomfortable? Let's kill our people. Golly. No, man, you ain't got to firebomb anybody. That's wrong. For the love of God, say something to them.
Check them bank account. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, we got to at this point because we need an explanation. We need an explanation. As a city, we have to express we're no longer okay with this. Because it's just been building too much. John Horn has brought too many people, and now he's gotten to somehow the rest of the city council to go along with him. Hartley has hid information from the community, and I only say that because he took a show down and had a public service commissioner giving the city and other council members advice, and then when asked by one on his own show to put it back up, he never put it back up. Never even told them, well, I don't have it, I couldn't find it. It's an important piece of information. Now we turn around and we finally see Brian Grizzell waking up and saying, hold on a second, something's going on with this Horn crew. Something's wrong here. I might not have liked the way that, some of the organizations were doing it, right? I might not like the way that the community organizations were coming, but I wasn't trying to sell the whole city away. Remember that time we told you that there were 2 councilmen in this radio station right here. One had a show, the other was on this show. Walked away, overheard saying, Horn can't just sell it all away. These are 2 of your council people. Has no importance who they were. Because we've told you everything you need to know about each and every one of them. This is what they knew, and they didn't get in front of there and tell us. And now you have Vernon Hartley and LaShia. Well, LaShia is the one that introduced him. And I would imagine, without her introducing him, who do you think would have introduced him? Foot probably wouldn't have, because that would have looked too much like he was doing it for a reason. Parkinson's too nice to introduce it, so they needed to find someone that, just like they got John Horn in '96, to get downtown Jackson partners in with the Business Improvement District. It's always a Stephen in the field from Django. And Stephen was John Horn in '96, and LaShia is Stephen in 2026. There's no question about this. There's no reason you couldn't have put a moratorium in place. We want to see bank accounts. We want to see some transparency now. We want to know why. Because there's no reasonable explanation for you not doing this. Because in the meantime, you tell us this. Okay, well, if we push back and do this the quote right way, say Parks and Law, we should have, it's because an ordinance could be involved here, we've got to give the people a 15-day window to discuss it. But before that 15-day window comes up, you, City Council and Planning Board, you plan a meeting to allow Next Sexum to come in and pitch an idea to build on Forest Ave immediately. You stop playing with people. This is what pissing in your face and telling you that it's Gatorade looks like. Healthy for you. You're dehydrated. Open up. Now, what words do we have to say to you to make you understand you're just being doo-dooed on by those put into place to protect you? So LaShia and Parkinson say, hey, let's do this the right way. So first, let's back up to this point. Make it make sense. Tarek Abdul Tawwab. I like to say Tarek Abdul Tawwab. The young man is there. But I start talking to you heavily about we both do, because I know what you're going to say. I always try to welcome it. Look, y'all can see the side eye, like, don't try to leave me out. We both do. From a protection standpoint, I always say that. But we start talking about Gabriel Prado, right? From the beginning. We get him before he can get in there sneaky style. We tell you when Don Gabriel markets start popping up. Now, thank God I see these memes coming with these hotels. With these hotels, we're going to take calls in about 7 minutes, guys. We're going to get through a little. But with these hotels, with Don Gabriel pasted on the front of it, right? With people recreating Don Gabriel hotels. Now people are understanding the impact this man has. The only bother I have is that parents don't talk to their children. My children, my nephews, my nieces understand. So that they're not, because a lot of these young people, they're talking about Don Gabriel got motion. Got motion? Would you say that about Steven from Django? That he has motion? Because y'all understand that movie? But your parents and your elders aren't explaining it to you. Tougaloo, where's your political science department? Jackson State, where's your political science? They've still been quiet. They're going to just keep being quiet, right? Now, see the students on there, because we see the page of folks jumping on. We see the students on there, right? Valley State, Alcorn, where are the political science departments? And not for Jackson necessarily, for your surrounding areas. They need to be up. Why is nobody from these places where folks, especially because they don't want to get in the line of the wrong people? And this is what you have. So we tell you Gabriel Prato's doing too much off the rack. Why do we say he's doing too much? Because him and his brother Daniel Gabriel, they're labeling these gas stations as grocery stores. So it means that we got 17 Don Gabriel grocery stores in Jackson. And I ain't seen one piece of fresh fruit, fresh deli, or produce in there one of them. And we go to them on a regular basis. Young man and I just float around the city. Probably can't do it too much longer. We'll have to have some specialists go out with us. Go ahead for us, not a problem. Any community, not a problem. Any section, not a problem. We've got folks. They're the ones that call us after you do them the way you do. So we bring that attention. When did we break? Maybe 3 weeks ago. We tell you we're starting to get pressure from black businessmen who come up to us and tell us, well, Gabriel Prado wants y'all to stop talking about it. This is what I say when I say see something, say something. When we walk you through it while it's happening, it gets real funny, doesn't it? Not one, multiple businessmen. Listen, man, there's a lot of money in it for some of these folks, some of us businessmen, if you stop talking about Gabriel Prado. Yeah, that's not going to happen, partner. Appreciate you, though, man. Have a good day, brother. Hey, man, you think you can stop talking about him just for 30 days? Now, this is when Brian Griselle was trying to submit a 30-day moratorium. This platform was I was asked, Tarek Lutois, can you stop talking about Gabriel Prado for 30 days? This is how you got here. So now when I say LaShia Brown introduces it, no, that can't just be regular. That just can't be regular. These all have to be factored as folks working to get to a certain goal. They all got to be put together for the sake of us as people, as a community. We're not locked into any laws of legal proceedings. We have to use everything in front of us to try to figure out what happened. I'll take a lie detector test if I had to. Very easy to tell you how I'm approaching how these things are coming through, right? No problem. For my community, I would, right? But now we can put these as facts. Okay, so first Gabriel Prado just getting all these pluses after going supporting John Horn. And then they asked Make It Make Sense to stop talking about Gabriel Prado. Then they asked Make It Make Sense. And the words that the business folks were using that came to me in our community was moratorium. Right, young man? Man, you think you could do a moratorium on talking about the same words that Brian Griselle used to try to stop the data centers? I told him, of course not, I can't do a moratorium. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell him what you just said. Make it make sense. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell him that they're trying to stop me. Right? I don't need to hurt our community. He's the one doing it. Let's talk about him. Let's keep it gully. So now, after that happens, you have to look at how many of you all are watching. We posted something about Gabriel Prado's brother, Daniel Prado, and him incorrectly coding his gas stations. They hit 35,000 people in a city of only 130,000 people. Mm-hmm. Where do you think that people are getting this information from at this point? You all are circulating it, 60, 70 reposts. We're doing this together. Nowhere else is this information seeping out from. Where else would folks in 2026 understand, and this is the community that walked it, the community created 2 cities, 1 Jackson. We just put it out there. We got the courage in our chest forward, but that's the community's work. So now, make it make sense. Can y'all please stop? Everyone we can get our hands on from as much money, can you please stop? Big up to the community. Big up to black businessmen. Because please understand that. We still moving. We're still supported. We're still encouraged. People still try to financially support us. So them folks you went to either did something strange for some change or did the right thing and stood up. But after, as soon as we say no, then immediately you see LaShia say, okay, remove the blocks. We almost had it, but make it make sense. Keep making noise about what we're doing. We got to go full-fledged ahead. Remove the block, full steam, choo-choo. They're making too much noise about what we're doing. Go look on our page. We post Gabriel Prado with AI centers. Now others are posting along with it as well, though. Not just us anymore. It's a community now. Now all of a sudden LaShia comes out and they need someone to do it. And this is quick. Data centers are too ugly right now. We got to get a black person to do it. The only people that would do it, Foot said, I'll do it probably. It's like, Foot, we can't have you do it. You don't stay awake. You just insulted Chief Brackney. You definitely can't do it. Parkinson said, I can smile. Would that help? Not with this one, Parkinson. Not with this one. It's got to be a black person doing it. Stokes was like, I'm not even showing up. Don't ask me to do it. I'm not even going to be there. Hartley was like, I mean, they keep talking about me too. So Lashia said, well, I'll do it. Brian Grizel says, in the middle of the meeting, the public sees who's doing it. Literally pointed at her without pointing. Parkinson leaned back and smiled. Oh, calm down, Grizel. We've got to be sure the ordinance doesn't ordinance the ordinance, and then it doesn't ordinance the ordinance. And we really don't know whether it's an ordinance, but we've got to at least find out and give them time to put that data center in, right? May 27th. How many of them knew on the 20th that a week later they will, and if they didn't, they told them, hurry up and come on in here.
There was a,
No.
There was a meeting. They have another meeting on the 27th.
The 27th meeting itself, and you've got to pull that up. And we're going to take, and I see the calls coming in. We're going to take you first on the second half. But the meeting coming up is just type in company seeking to rezone Forest Avenue property for Jackson Data Center. And this is a day after the Jackson City Council tabled a temporary ban on data centers. WLBT is learning. Everybody knows but us. And Lashia, clearly. This is where you got to place it where it's at. So a day after the city council, these are hitmen at this point. You seeing how it's happening. There don't need to be another two cities, one Jackson for what's happening now. We see it real time. Prado comes in, starts getting his AI data center ready. The community makes noise, enough noise to let you know we watching after that water center debacle, the water authority debacle. We're on you after the Stokes debacle. We're on you after the community debacles and change the street name. Everyone's on you now. People had already started talking about Grizel's not doing some of this water. Grizel said, yes, I am. Look what they're doing. That's what we need. Kudos. We don't care how we get there. Grizel said, look what they're doing here with the data centers. We need to put a block on it. Prado said, let's see if we can't make it make sense to shut up first. Didn't work. That was the worst route. I don't know why you went to that route. You should have skipped that route. You might have went through better. Because when a trusted voice comes on and says, yeah, you asked me to shut up and you went through businessmen. Yeah, your brother tried to chase us away from the Prado laws when we tried to look from across the street to see what the city of Jackson was doing in there, just to watch it. Daniel Prado comes running out of some slides trying to slide. I'm sorry. Trying to slide on us, yelling. Nobody moving. You don't move out the dang way, man. But the point is that this cockiness comes from John Horn assuring them they're fickle and uneducated. You'll be able to do what you want with them. And now he's bought Robert Island. His attorney from not his attorney, but the attorney from his housing task force. I knew, we talked about it when it came up. We'll replay that show. When he bought that housing task force, and I looked at all of Jennifer Welch, Robert Island, I looked at all their backgrounds, and I said, all these people come from buy low, sell high, building, real estate. Why are they on the housing task force? Why don't you bring in 3 people from Shower Power or from Stewpot? Instead, you got one, and then all these lawyers that buy a property and whatnot. Now we see why. Robert Island was there. See, John Horn puts them in place. Like Kane did put him in place. Now you got to understand the way it's happening. And these older folks understand it. They're just so used to being quiet because they have to be. Because nothing changes when you talk. But we've all started swimming down. This new generation are not their ancestors. We're not our ancestors. And we mean that respectfully to our ancestors. We mean we're going to take advantage of what you fought for and died for. We're not going to let you whore our vote. We're not going to let you come into NAACP events and let you and NAACP take over the whole event when you got 30 organizations that are putting that together. And you making it about you running for office. Don't worry about you running for office. Worry about the black vote being strong, and we'll protect those that lead us and deserve to be there. But instead, you want to make it about your organization or about you running for office. If you see something, say something. All you see is just NAACP, and that's the news that could have done that. Could have had nothing to do with the organization. The news could not have wanted Jackson's People Assembly to be shown in there marching strong with their people, Mississippi for a Just World. These were where the young people came from on that stage, marching, chanting. The Jackson's People's Assembly itself are the ones that went to the state capitol. Nat, shout out Nat, and JPA. They were the ones out there marching, shutting it down, getting arrested, going to jail. But they wanted to show you NAACP only. Why? Why? The ones getting locked up, if I'm correct, came from either the Jackson's People's Assembly, Mississippi for a Just World, where the young people up on stage. People's Assembly was there. You had One Voice was there. I saw fighting. I saw a lot of groups fighting. But they only showed you on the news what? NAACP and Benny Thompson, which is not a problem with neither of those. They're inside of our circle of a black community. But why are those the only two they're showing you? If it's 7 family members and they only showing you the father and the daughter, something's going on, Harry. Why you don't want me to see the rest of the family? Oh, because they fighting for real, for real. Okay. Oh, because they're not the ancestors. Some of the ones you're showing us are. And there's nothing wrong with that. You got some of our ancestors ready to sit down. You got some of the newer ready to push forward. You don't want to show them who them people pushing forward really are. That's why Mississippi local paper said there were hundreds at the march. Every national paper said thousands appropriately.
Thousands, that was including other people that was there.
Yeah, well, they were making it what it was. The Mississippi local newspapers were trying to make it smaller than what it was.
A certain person.
Yeah, they were trying to make it seem like, no, John Horn's got a good control of the city. Those blacks aren't marching. LaShia's not helping us. When he says they're fickle and uneducated, LaShia Brown Thomas and Hartley are two of the main examples of why they think we're fickle and uneducated in Jackson from a voting perspective. Now, this is the time where we have a chance to check both of these council people. This is violence they are committing by refusing to put that moratorium in effect. This is violence against our community. It's nothing else. We're not the ones advocating violence. They're being violent. Just go look at the health risks. Go look at the societal risks. This is a repeat of them building trains over our community, but on steroids. Now you're building data centers, lying about the jobs that are coming, making us believe there's something in it for us. And our own city council stand by and tells us, this is what LaShia and Kevin told us. Don't put this moratorium down. And Hartley's old, I don't even know what you call these old black men at a certain point. Not to insult it, but like somebody help us understand who are you? Who raised you, John Horn, Vernon Hartley, and LaShia Brown Thomas? And we waited, haven't we? We waited days for responses and to come from the community. We get on air Monday talking about it because these people haven't responded at all.
This will be the first day it's built in Jackson, right?
Yes. And look how quickly it's escalating, though.
Yeah.
Other places they go through fighting. Canton is fighting while they're building. I mean, here it's just like there's no fight coming from anywhere but from the people. Our councilmen are they're worse than the ones. The ones that got firebombed, at least they pretended they were thinking about it, then signed non-disclosure agreements and pissed the people off. Our council folks aren't even pretending. They're drawing a line. Yeah, I'm voting for it, Harley says. LaShia said, I'm going to go ahead and introduce him, man. John Horn did it in 96. She got a poster of John Horn up on her wall. And that's real. She got a poster of John Horn. It's John Horn standing like this in 96. And you know how they used to write on the posters just a year with a little thing? It's John Horn standing like this with a 96 written over him. And LaShia just saluted that. She just saluted it. Salute John Horn. It takes a strong black person to turn against their community for the betterment of themselves.
Now she LaShia in 2026.
LaShia 2026, the new John Horn, 96. The new Harvey Johnson, 95, or whatever he ran. Yeah. These are the people that you're talking about hurting us, but they're here now. So Ward 5, Ward 6, man, don't let those of your council people be comfortable. Both of them voted for this. Ward 5 and Ward 6.
Do y'all think they want to reject the lease now?
You still got to listen, right? Right? And now they want to talk. You still didn't reject. They're doing nothing. Every step that having a black majority gives us. So in Mississippi, it's fair to say this, that the white Republican Party has rolled back everything that they possibly can, right? And are trying more to roll our rights back. And the black city council is doing the same at a city level. 601-948-5950. Call back in, my brother. Get a quick 2 minutes in there. Anyone else that wants to comment on that, any comment that you have is welcome. This is a sad day for the city of Jackson, Mississippi. This is a sad day for the Democratic Party of Fannie Lou Hamer and any other black politician that lived in the state. This is a much sadder day for, rest in peace, Charles Tisdale. This is an extremely sad day for Sister Hurricane. Shout out to the brother at the Daiquiri Bar. Kane Ditto is the architect. Under him, what you know as Downtown Jackson Partners, who inevitably are the ones that want you gone. There is no question about that. They control those 65 blocks, and they've had a plan that they have advertised for the area that you are in for a long time. So this was not by chance. As you said, they let you know there was a set amount of time you could be there, and that set amount of time was until the gentrification took enough hold to make your property worth more to some other people than it was to your lease payment. So Kane Ditto is not new to this. He is true to this. 30 years ago, Kane Diddle oversaw CCI, which became Downtown Jackson Partners. He was sued by Charles Tisdale for stealing money from the city, and he has returned 30 years later to finish off the job he has started. John Horn, his godson, is sitting right there with him. I don't know if that's really his godson, but that's how they act. John Horn's godson to us here, Kane Diddle, it has his godson in there, and he's picked up where he left off in 96. From 96 to 2026, John Horn has done nothing but consistently hurt this city. All he has claimed is that he has bought 2 museums to the city, and let's be real, Kane Diddle was sitting on top of that too.
Welcome, make sense. Call in there.
Hello?
You're on air, caller. Welcome to Make It Make Sense.
Yeah, thank you. I was being very brief. I
Yes, sir.
listen to you, and you make so much sense. And I'd like to just congratulate you for your courage and your knowledge and your concern for the city of Jackson, the state of Mississippi, and the United States. I'm hoping and praying that the professors in his department, Jackson State Tubular Alcorn, and as well as the people of political science, social science, English department, and every other department would give the students assignment to listen to your show. You speak so clearly, and you're so accurate, and you definitely tell the truth. People don't name names unless they know for a fact they tell the truth. Thank you, man.
Thank you,
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. And let me just say, you get humbled by folks a lot of times. We're going to tell me 30 seconds because we got to close out.
You got 30 seconds. Make it make sense. Call you on there.
Yes, this is the one that brought up the other good subject 3 weeks ago.
That's right. Yes, sir, my brother.
All right, here we go.
You're taking us home. We only got about 30, 45 seconds. Go ahead with it.
When they used to have Jubilee Jam, they made so much money, and the reason they don't have Jubilee Jam no more, they were stealing the money, and they couldn't even keep up with it. Well, we know who was stealing it, but anyway. And this is my point, too. The people that educated, sophisticated, they got the big old houses and doing good now. They forgot that they used to stay in the woods, and now that they got TVs in their room, they want to look down on us people that's less fortunate. And it's the have and the have-not.
That's right.
And when you come down on Fair Street, the have-not gonna bust your car windows and rob.
That's right. We appreciate you, my brother. That's right. Thank you. And the have and the have-nots, and that's the breakdown to it. He was going a little, he was going to get deeper there at the end, I think.
Did he say the have-nots going to bust your street on Fair Street?
Yeah, just saying that those that don't have anything, if you keep pushing things into the neighborhood of people that have nothing, eventually those people are going to take something from you. And it's, every biblical Quran, if you have a loaf of bread and you refuse to give me, and a lot of people don't realize how religious it is for me to take half of that loaf. You just used to people that don't tell you the truth, both in religious settings and in the real setting. You don't understand that it's actually godly to take half of the loaf from somebody. If I'm starving, you're eating half a loaf of bread. God tells me in every religion and I've read them all in every scripture to take half of that. I don't think you understand what's being done to us. The folks that are telling you to be lawful are stealing everything. They're taking the earth now and the water. And to the brother that just called in, our elder, I'm humbled by what you say. And sometimes you don't always know. Listen, sometimes this weight can get heavy. And you got women and you have men, and sometimes we talk to each other. And I can't pretend to talk to women, right? And understand the exact experience. I can protect, we can fight. But, as a man approaching 48, especially as a black man, you have to understand that what we understand is this thing gets really, really heavy. You get what I'm saying? It gets really heavy. And, my mother passed. Especially when you lose that one person who just sees you as good no matter what. And a lot of y'all people that get talked about, you wish she was alive. I promise you. Because her going just opened up a whole realm of truth for me, for people that did things to her in the same way. And that's why, whether it's from Pineywood to the councilman, no matter who it is, I'm going to talk about what you did because you did that to my mother and you didn't. So, brother, first off, when you say you have courage, I thank you, because no one had courage when my mother and other people's elders sat out there and got ravaged by the community and got beat up on when they tried to fight back. And my father, he's just still here, right? But I always promised that I would not do that. So when the brother right there, that elder in our community, says to Tougaloo, says to Alcorn State, says to JSU, why wouldn't you tell your students to listen to this brother's show? If he doesn't talk about people's personal lives, if he doesn't talk about anything wrong, but he just gives them facts and politics. And the sad thing is that this brother has to bring that up a year and a half later. And that speaks more to each one of those institutions' political science departments than it does to the students to go there and to the HBCU nature of that school. You talk about 1960 Shaw University. You talk about sit-ins at North Carolina A&T. You're talking about John Lewis at Fisk University. Dr. King, Morehouse. We get a lot of Stokely Carmichael. That was Howard University, right? You talk about Gil Scott Heron, Lincoln University. My father proof wrote for Gil Scott Heron. Now what's coming out of these colleges is silence. Until Benny Thompson wants to get votes going, and then now we start talking about voting, which we should have been talking about when Lumumba and them were running. But 2 votes came out of Tougaloo then. You got too many gatekeepers controlling the good when it's for them and denying it when it's for you. And you continue to sit by and let it happen. May 27th at 1:30 p.m. is Wednesday. We won't have another chance to talk to you about it. We haven't forgot about the Water Authority. We ain't forgot about the rate case. But May 27th, if we let LaShia, Parkinson, Hartley, and Foote force this data center on Forest Avenue and stop complaining. We've got a plan. We got to come up with something stronger. We got to come up with something that fights on all fronts. So we're going to deal with this data center on the 27th. All of y'all better be there. And I'm sorry, we're not trying to be rude, young man, but you can no more of this, and I got to go here, I got to go there. You have to stop in and see. You see how loud they are in the health concerns? Stop just sitting around in this online world where you rush home and make a comment and you feel like you did something. You've done nothing. Except let the no power to be know you ain't doing nothing. Every comment online means no action in the real world half the time. Show up on the 27th, damn it, to the City Hall and worry about your future. And if we don't show up on the City Hall, then by the love of God, it don't mean nothing. That ain't wrapping me up. I'm wrapping up because we a second away. For my co-host,
Keanu Perry.
and myself, Tark Abdul-Twab, my esteemed producer, wrapping me up accurately, Mr. Wilson, we love you. Make it make sense, Jackson. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to go wrap it up. It just kept growing. Hold on, let me open it. My bag. Oh, man, I had the door locked.
Oh, the hospital.
You trying to get in there?
It's all good.
Man, my bag.
It's all good, man.
Man, we